Hey there everyone, Jacob here. I'm doing an extra video this week and I'm standing in front of my RV. And if you follow along my videos, you know the RV here is named Finn. And Finn is named as such because Finn is a dolphin. It's actually a national, the company is national. It's a Dolphin 6355 is the actual model. And and Finn the dolphin is going up for sale. So that's the whole purpose of the video, is a for sale video. Finn is for sale. I'm moving on with my life, and I'm not going to be RVing anymore. So unfortunately, it's time to see Finn go. But Finn has been in my family for years, and I know every nuance and detail of Finn. But I'm not going to do a full tour of Finn today. I'm actually going to do a short tour. I'm going to do a short tour of Finn because I have filmed Finn before, and there was a full video tour of Finn about a year ago that I did about a year ago that is on YouTube right now. So I'll do a link to that. So yeah, you can get a tour of Finn, a full, where we open all the hatches and go through everything. But I need to do an update because I've done a lot of work to Finn in the last year, and a lot of that is cosmetic and paint and so forth. But just a lot of work has been done to Finn over the last year. So in this short tour, we'll go through all the changes made in the last year. But the other thing that we're going to do this week that I'm super kind of into and excited about is I want to compare Finn to a brand new RV, and or a newer RV, either way. But the question to answer is, if you bought a brand new Class A motorhome, what would be the differences, benefits, and so forth in spending the extra money to get a brand new motorhome? And so we're going to crunch the numbers. We're going to look at the differences. We're going to talk about the pluses and minuses, age, reliability, all these kinds of things. And we're going to answer that question about what is the benefits versus drawbacks of buying a used motorhome versus a new motorhome. And that is going to be like the primary function of our video here, because I think that's a really interesting question. At the same time, of course, Finn is for sale, so then we'll talk about the specifics of Finn, this particular RV. I've done so many incredible upgrades on Finn that it is actually head and shoulders above any RV of its type, and it's actually head and shoulders above most brand new RVs in its amenities and features. So in that respect, we'll talk about specifically about Finn, but then we will just talk about in general new motorhome versus used. So that's what we're doing today. I'm excited about this video, and let's get going with it and see what we find out.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself.
Okay, on our short tour of Finn, let me point out some of the kind of important things that have happened in the last year. The most important thing that has happened is the paint job. I had I'd say 80% of Finn completely sanded down and repainted. And so Finn has brand new paint, brand new graphics. Yeah, he is looking pretty incredible. And so that is the most obvious difference. Last year when I did the tour, the clear coat was failing and didn't look so good. And now Finn has undergone quite a transformation from a cosmetic standpoint. And so that is, yeah, so he's looking pretty dang good. And yeah, they like, where the old dog door was, all that stuff. If you saw the old video, everything is now, pretty dang. There's a few, we didn't repaint every square inch of Finn. I'll do all the whole video about the whole adventure repainting Finn coming up, but yeah, so that we'll get into that. But yeah, now everything is looking pretty snazzy. Okay, now we're going to do a walkthrough of the interior. And even in the interior, I'll point out anything that's changed from the last year. Otherwise, we'll just do a quick walkthrough. So we'll come in and we'll turn to the right to kind of get our tour started. And right away, you're going to see my, I guess you call it, office workstation. And this is something that I did build custom. And so this desk folds down and becomes an entryway cabinet. But behind the door and behind the desktop is a place for office supplies and pens and pencils and that kind of thing. And even more amazing is that I've made this with a false front, I guess you could call it. The TV is on a ram and will retract behind and into the cabinet. And so when you're traveling, TV's down, all this is down, and it's just a nice entryway cabinet. Up here is a good place to keep lots of office supplies, which is, I'm sort of getting things cleaned out because I'm moving out, of course. But the other thing that is kind of part of this office is this big TV right here is on shocks, and we can raise it, and there's your printer and other office supplies, and it's, of course, right here next to the workstation. So that's a super cool feature. And also, this cabinet has power internal, so you could put a docking station or other types of things down into the compartments here and conceal all your electronics if you wanted to do it that way. So, so that is the workstation when you first come in. The other thing that's kind of interesting, you'll see up here, there is a sensor for the Wii Fit. And traveling around, I try to, so when I'm traveling around, I try to do best I can to stay in shape. And I love the Wii Fit for that. And so I built in the Wii Fit sensor. And with the length of the RV, you can do Wii Fit bowling and all kinds of stuff. I even have the Wii boards. You can do the fitness games and everything else, and just build that right in. So yeah, so the Wii Fit built-in is kind of an interesting little side note that I did here. But anyway, so yeah, so the cabinets here, you can do all your electronics inside the cabinets, and they've got that glass front, so you can hide them in there and still use the remote controls. All right, so here's your, I always want to talk like I'm on a boat, helm station. Driver's seat. Obviously the seats rotate. And so here's the situation here. Notice the iPad. I love using the iPad for like a driver's aid because I use my GPS on there and I stream my music there. And I've done a cool thing here. I was going to replace this whole stereo with a like modern, like, touchscreen kind of a deal. But then I actually just got a Bluetooth module, which it's actually sitting right down under the dash there. There's a Bluetooth module, and then the stereo just syncs Bluetooth wise. That's why it says a aux on it. It's the auxiliary. It just syncs to the iPad. Then while I'm cruising along, I can control music. I can even tell Siri what to do to play stuff. And I got my music while I'm driving. I got my navigation. The navigation plays through the sound system, so I get my turn-by-turn directions, everything else, and kind of get all the benefits of a modern system just by having Bluetooth to the iPad. So down over here on the left side is where you're going to control your generator, your leveling, and so forth. All right, so we did see that there is the TV here, and the reason for that is because across the way we have the leather recliners. And so this is kind of an essential component for me because I like to recline and watch TV. All right, so getting to the rest of this situation here. The thing I love about this RV is the quality. And I mean, everything is extremely well built, and things that are wood are actually wood and are solid. and don't feel hollow and tinny and cheap. Even the fixtures are metal, not plastic. There is very little plastic in this RV. It's actually terrific in that standpoint. Of course, there are mirrors behind everything, and I initially didn't like the mirrors, but then I realized just how much light they reflect and how much more spacious the space feels and brighter the space feels. So in the end, I actually have grown to love the mirrors, even though you have to clean them all the time if you want them to be smudge free. The pull-outs, trash and recycle, real nice. This is all in the last tour I did, but just a quick reminder. And the spices are on racks and they pull out. But let's just talk in real quick about countertop space for an RV. We have the maximum countertop space. I do love the extra extension over here. From a livability standpoint, of course, I'm a full timer. You know, this is just makes all the difference. And interestingly enough, everything you see in this RV is attached so that when I'm traveling, I don't have to move anything. I know that seems maybe hard to believe, but okay, so yeah, so those two guys stay there. When we turn around, everything on the table, actually the tissue box isn't, but the salt and peppers, they are literally on Velcros. So yeah, so literally everything here, all this stuff here is all Velcroed on. The knives, the coffee maker, this thing, Velcroed. So everything in the RV, the way you see it is how you would see it when I'm traveling. So it's kind of, I think, an important kind of distinction to make. We're looking at a full-timer RV here, and nothing is staged. This is actually just how. Yeah, so this is exactly how I travel, and I guess exception the dish soap I put in the sink. That's not Velcroed down, but pretty much everything in here is just the way it would be when I'm traveling. All right, so fridge is a huge fridge. There is an ice maker in this fridge, but it needs replacing. I still use the bin for ice, but it'll work for a while and it'll eventually freeze up. It's too old. But I carry my own ice maker around that's in the cabinet here. So so there's my ice maker. So I probably could replace that easy enough. I just haven't. All right, so moving along, the washer dryer. I love the washer dryer. I don't know why people aren't adopting these now that they've come up with decent quality ones. So we're in the bathroom. There's the shower. Notice in the shower that I've done the I don't know what you call it, where you can adjust the height of the shower head. So you can put it way up there, and so that a person that's even over 6 feet can get under the shower head. So that's that. And behind the door over here is where the toilet is. And squeaky door, I know. All right, here's the toilet room. And there's cabinetry in here, of course. All right, so I'm a full-time RVer and I owned other RVs, and I was kind of, when I first looked at RVs, I'm like, I don't really like this where the bathroom is like part of like the living space, but then there are doors to the bathroom on both sides, and same thing over here. You can shut the door to the bathroom and to the laundry, and then the toilet is in its own separate cabinet. And I, having lived this situation, think this is absolutely the best arrangement, because when you are on the toilet, you want privacy. You want a fan in there. You want to not be part of the rest of anybody. You got privacy, and then while you're in there, anyone can be out here using the sink, using the shower. I mean, I like the toilet room being separate. Or people could just walk through, if you're a couple or what have you, someone could be in there using the toilet, you just walk right through, it's not a problem. Now, the other nice thing is double doors between the living space and the bedroom. I actually have loved this feature because now if you have someone who sleeps, sleeps a different schedule than the other person, or just wants a lot of privacy, you've got two sets of doors between you and the rest of the RV. And really do love that concept also. So this arrangement with the bathroom the way it is and the toilet the way it is means that you can have two doors between you and the toilet to all the spaces. It's just supremely practical, like, use of space. More mirrors, of course, and hatches. And while we're looking at the hatches, this is one of the changes from the last tour I did. I have refinished and redone all the hatches. So they're all new, fresh, white. They're not all yellowed and old looking. And I have also redone the sink, which is not all yellow and old looking. It's now new and it's porcelain, doing away with all the plastic, so there's that. Now we get to the master bedroom, and you got nice little end tables on both sides with plug-ins and drawers. And that is another pet peeve I have. My other pet peeve of the RV industry is why everybody is doing king size beds in an RV. And it's just taking up more and more space and leaving you less room for nightstands and walking around the bed. So are you really willing to give up like an extra foot of space in your RV because you have a king size bed? That is something that I kind of wonder about. But anyway, so queen size bed in this RV, and lots of room to walk around it, and lots of storage, both in the drawers and under the bed. And yeah, so, brilliant arrangement and smart use of space, in my opinion. Okay, so we're under the RV right now, but I wanted to show you the new springs and shocks that I had put on this year. I had that done in Florida, so they're 5,000 miles ago, but all in all, virtually brand new, and that was a nice change to the front of the RV. As far as handling and ride and steering, everything, it's like wonderful now. It's so nice to drive. So a nice upgrade there. So I'm anticipating that there's going to be a lot of questions about this washer dryer, and I've said in past videos that these things are incredible, but I just wanted to show you the average size load that I do. So I just took laundry out and I put it away. I just fold on the bed here. So pretty typical load that I wash and dry in 3.5 hours. A couple pairs of jeans, couple pairs of shorts, couple shirts, 4 pairs of thick socks, or 3 pairs anyway. And obviously don't wash the same load every time, but this is about what I would typically throw into this machine and wash at one time, wash and dry. You can wash twice as much if you want to dry some other way, hang to dry or something, but I always just put wash and dry. So yeah, I put in here 3.5 hours, and between 320 and 340. It always comes out perfectly dry, static, free, and spotlessly clean. So the thing is unbelievable, and like I said, I'd never go back to another kind of washer dryer at this point. So I'm just going to show you that the bed back here does raise up on struts, and even with that thicker, heavier mattress, the struts are still strong enough to hold it up. So that'll allow you to access the center part of the storage. The rest is drawers, and then the very back corner is the air conditioning filter where the air conditioning comes in. Okay, now I'm up on top of the roof of Finn, and because I want to show you, of course, the solar panels that I put on recently. Also went through the entire roof and recalked almost everything, especially the front and rear caps. Did the caulking on the front and rear caps. So everything's sealed up real good and ready to go for a while. Also hatches. This hatch is actually brand new. Notice all the hatches are tinted, except I have a solution for the shower, but the sun load on RVs is so high. Real world situation. I would say, I don't know why no one puts clear or anything on the top of an RV, or even windows not tinted, because even in cold weather, your sun load is so high with an RV that you want to cut that down as much as possible. So I actually did pick up an acrylic overlay that I can put on the shower cap. to cut down on the UV there too. And I actually have that. I'll probably put that on soon. But everything else up here is already done. All tinted hatches, all resealed, roof's ready to go. So I decided to go first class on the solar with the Victron. And this is a Bluetooth smart charger, SMPPT. And so you can read it on you can read the stats on your phone and track your charging history. But also this controller is capable of handling 100 or 30 amps at 100 volts. And that's actually quite a bit. So that means that you can actually, talking about this charge controller, 30 amps at 100 volts is a lot of capacity actually. So the way I've wired this is a little bit heavier wire, but also with the ability to handle up to 100 volts, you don't need as much wire because you can run higher voltage. So there's currently 400 watts up there. This could easily, you could easily double that with this charge controller and this same wire. So you could go 800 watts. And in fact, I have a whole other set of brackets. The only thing missing to go to 800 watts is the actual panels. And right now, those exact monocrystalline panels are discounted on Amazon for like $290. So if someone needed more power, I didn't need any more than 400 watts, but I haven't been in any situation where I did, but if you did need it, you can go on Amazon and you can upgrade pretty quickly. The only thing that isn't rated for 100 or for 100 volts is the little fuse here. I would think its top rating is 60 volts. That's something, if I were upgrading the solar, I would double check on the fuse, but I put a switchable fuse so it's easy to shut the power off and on to the solar. And I went with the top line Bluetooth charge controller. And of course, already got the lithium, 7.5 kilowatt hours of lithium power. And you got the amazing Victron Multiplus in there. And this brings up the final amazing thing about this RV is having a split power system is really, really handy for a lot of boondocking and traveling situations. And I'll give you just a couple quick examples of that. So for instance, when I was in Rocky Point and I was getting the paint work done on the RV, I was in only a 30 amp receptacle space. And now it was pretty warm down there and I want to run the air conditioning. Well, you need 30 amps to run the air conditioning, and actually it's great. You can run the air conditioning for this whole RV on 30 amps, which is nice because some RVs can't do that. So that is actually pretty cool. But if you were running the air conditioning on 30 amps, that doesn't leave you much power. So that works out just great because you are running the air conditioning on the 30 amps, and then this panel, this system here can run totally independent from the shore power. So when I was in Rocky Point, I ran on solar power, and this circuit breaker is everything that you use inside the RV. And so, yeah, so it is being charged, it's being run through with these lithium batteries and this solar power. And so, yeah, it was pretty awesome on that situation. I could run the air conditioning anytime I wanted, and I didn't have to worry about power, and I was only on 30 amps. So that's one example of that split power system. Same thing applies on a shore power at like somebody's house. So if you're at somebody's house and you can only plug into their household outlet 15 or 20 amps, well, you can't run air conditioning on that. I mean, that you're going to be out of luck for air conditioning, but like here where I'm at now, I wouldn't even need the air conditioning. And if that's all I had, I could do the same thing. I could leave this system separate from the rest of things because on that shore power, you could also run the electric water heater, and you could run the washer and dryer and run the dryer because that's the only thing in here in the interior really that the washer and dryer is not connected to this system. It requires shore power generator to run. So you could run the washer dryer and the water heater and still not use any propane because you can split the system. So it saves a lot of propane. And the fridge also can run on shore power, right? So when you're totally off grid, nothing at all, the fridge can run on propane, the water heater can run on propane, and so then that helps you keep everything running, basically when you're off grid completely. So that's that. So as I'm looking at all this footage and considering just how much I keep talking, obviously we're not going to get to the comparison with the new RV today. On this video, if I didn't talk so much, it would probably be possible, but there's so much to say about this RV, and even just what I've done in the last year, that it just obviously takes too much time. So I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, do a whole new separate video comparing used RV to new, because I think that's a cool subject, and we could fill a whole video with that topic, I think. So we'll talk a little, probably end up talking more about Finn in that video, but it'll be a separate thing, and we'll roll that out in 3 days, I hope. Yeah. And then keep right on going. I got lots more coming. So yeah, so look for that next video. If once it comes out, I'll put a link right here to it. And otherwise, just keep watching my channel and like and subscribe, and all that really helps me a lot. I appreciate it. And obviously, if you're interested in purchasing Finn, there'll be look in the description, look for my email. There'll be ways to contact me, and glad to talk to you about it. Yeah, so these are Unagi scooters. Top of the line little guys, super lightweight, carbon fiber and aluminum. Really nice little devices. They have their carrying cases. This one I have out. I was just cleaning them up a little bit because I'm going to be selling these also. So if you're by chance thinking to go full time, then maybe, especially if you're not going to have a car, full time without a car, this is definitely a great way to get around. Nice little form of transportation. But if you're interested in these guys, let me know. I'm going to sell these also, and I still have my consumer with the RV. Okay, so final comments about Finn the RV. Just kind of mention some things that I know, characteristics, quirks, whatever you want to call them, but and maintenance things. I've really been pretty comprehensive in taking care of Finn as I've been traveling around doing a lot of work, but obviously I'm aware of like every little thing, and so I can tell you one of the things that I think is going to be down the road, honestly, I think are going to be windows. The double pane windows do slowly like leak between the panes, and you get a little fogging. So I kind of feel like windows are going to be a thing at some point. Having just ordered and done windows, I'm actually super familiar with the process. It's actually, not really that difficult or that expensive. I mean, I've spent more doing the suspension, the paint job, and just about everything else I've ever done to Finn than I would spend doing windows. So, well, I mean, maybe not every single window in the RV, but like a couple of them are like, more getting more worn out than others. But anyway, so yeah, windows are something to think about in the future. Not essential. I mean, it doesn't affect the livability of Finn. But the other thing is a few of the windows, actually, speaking of windows and blinds, it's all kind of windows and blinds. Some of the blinds are pretty much given up. The strings, eventually break on these things, but so a couple of the blinds are in pretty rough shape as far as functionality, and then a couple of window latches are like just spinning around, like don't latch anymore. So if you were like going somewhere like where you're super concerned about security and locking every last thing, then that's a problem. I never worried about it, and they don't affect me. The windows still function fine, but a couple little latches. What else? There's not a whole lot. I mean, Finn's a pretty solid thing, but and has been for years. Geez, nothing has gone wrong with Finn new that wasn't wrong a couple of years ago. It's unbelievable. Thousands of miles and never a problem. The windows have been like this, and the blinds have been a little sketchy for years, so nothing's new. But and speaking of nothing new, the generator has, in all the years we've ever had it, has never been super reliable. I think it's the nature of Onan generators. They used to have a great reputation, but these days they don't, and this generator will start right up and run, and 7,000 watts. I mean, it's a tremendous thing. It'll start up and run everything, but I wouldn't count on it. So if someone were thinking to take this RV and go to like, travel extensively on the road where you're running the generator through hot climates, and you want to run the air conditioning like 24/7, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be a job for this generator. I don't think. I would definitely just invest in a new generator, and the generator is fine to start up and use for a while. I wouldn't count on it to run like all day, or for extended hours. I think it's just too old and worn out. But although I have some ideas, I mean, that I think would help it run better all day. We could talk about it. I've gotten super in depth in this stupid generator, but anyway, it does start and run fine, but it's just not super dependable long term. Would be my assessment of it. What else? That's about it. I mean, Finn is like like I said, just a solid, reliable RV, and has given me like no problems at all, really, outside of just normal maintenance. So yeah, so that's all I can think of. But I'll write a written description, and if there's anything else I forgot, I'll put it in there. And I thank you guys all for looking at it, and we will see you in the next video.
Cause I